Hello, we're back to live streaming today for the Activate Your Prosperous Life Summit interview series. And today I am gathered with like almost a full house of speakers who are featured at the summit. And if you're listening, you're going to get a real good taste of why you want to join this summit. These are the most current, high frequency, high vibe people that I hang out with. I know some of them very well, and I'm just getting to know some of them even deeper with this summit. And I'm liking every one of them even more. And I know you are going to. So you're watching the live stream here. I'm going to go around the room and ask each of the featured speakers here to tell us a little bit about themselves. And today our theme is creativity, community, collaboration as a pathway to prosperity. And these experts are all deep in community work. They're all really collaborating with a lot of different people, and they're super creative. That's why I hang out with them, and that's why I'm bringing them together for you. Summer, you and I met over a year ago now, and you have this beautiful, creative, collaborative community. You're muted, so come off mute. Tell us a little bit about your work and the community you've created.
As work, I am a digital marketer and a business strategist. I coach people to improve their bottom line, make more money, and chill with their business. Just love what it is. My community is called Connections and Fab Collabs. Two people I see here are, including our host, is our member, and it's a lovely community. I care way too much about my community. I think lots of events, solopreneurs growing together, helping each other, supporting each other. That's our main theme. And today's theme is my favorite: creativity, collaboration, connection. Bring on all those C words, girl. I love them.
All right. Yeah. I wasn't even thinking about that when I was creating the theme. Summer's all about connections. That's why she's named her community Connections, her networking community and everything. Linda, come off mute here, but you and I also met about a year ago, and your work with highly sensitive people is so fascinating and so needed. How does creativity and community and collaborations really connect to your work? Tell us a little bit more about you.
Well, my specialty is energy, and it came about really that I started doing that as out of necessity, because what I've learned is that as highly sensitive people, we receive so much more energetic input, and it impacts our energy system so much more. So I find it's really important for us to have an understanding of energy, our energy, and the energy that affects us. And the creativity piece, highly sensitive people tend to be really, really creative. And yet they tend to shut that down as well, because they don't often understand it. So it's my job to help them understand themselves and bring out that creativity that they have.
I love it. I love it. Tamara, you help empower women with being more prosperous, like getting paid what they're worth. How is collaboration and community and creativity connected to your work? You're muted, by the way.
I mean, I look at everything sort of downrange of what is coming. That has sort of dominated my thought process over the last, I would say, 18 months. And I think that as we see, AI coming and taking jobs and really being a disruptive force in the world, the human qualities are becoming extremely important: creativity, connection, collaboration. So anything that helps you monetize your uniqueness as a human being is going to become very important. So these are very important to me. So
that's awesome. That's awesome. Coaching too. That's another C word that's going to be very big in 2026 as well. Orly, come off mute. Tell us a little bit about your work as Speak to Profit membership, and you're the keynote speaker person to know.
Well, if you say so.
I do.
Yeah, you're so sweet. Thank you. Nice to meet you, ladies, those I know and those I don't know. Good to meet you. Happy New Year.
Plus
My name
David,
is
plus David.
plus David. Well, I didn't say women. I just said everybody here. But David, aren't you lucky? All women. So my name is Orly Amora. I am a business coach for public speakers and entrepreneurs, and the only one in the world that guarantees they'll make 150K their first year in public speaking, or I work with them until they do. And my community is about, and the reason I created it is because I think that there is a fallout between connecting the event planners to the speakers, to the podcast hosts, to the summit hosts, and there's some kind of flaw in the middle of all of that where people don't show up and don't know how to show up, and that's why we need to give them all the tools that will make them shine in their genius zone, right? And so I think collaboration, networking, and cooperation, I like to do that as well, because collaboration is one thing, but cooperation is 10x collaboration. And so I prefer saying that that's what we want in our lives. We want to be connected to less people with more impact.
Nice. Yeah, cooperation. Okay, we're throwing that C word into the cauldron here that we're creating. Leah, tell us about, you might have another one because you're super creative. Tell us about you and creativity, community, and collaboration, and add your C word as well.
Yeah. So Leah Johnson, I'm an author, artist, and creative. That's what I do. So creativity is, at the core of creating a prosperous life, not just through the process of creating art, but the power that we all have to create the lives we want through intentionality, and I'll add curiosity. Uh, and being curious about what life can offer and what opportunities are there, and really going deep into that and allowing that to be a space where you can release and receive and elevate yourself to a higher level of consciousness where you can truly prosper as the human that you are.
Yeah, two C words there, curiosity and consciousness. She brought into the cauldron here. Cauldron is one that I'm adding. David, come off mute. Tell us a little bit about yourself and how the power of community is like a big driver in your business as well.
Sure. Thanks, Jennifer. So I lead the Smashing the Plateau community, which is a community for corporate refugees, people who typically have 20 to 40 years of deep experience in their field. And then they go out on their own, start their own business, most commonly as a consultant or a coach. And they just want to be able to do more of what they love and get paid what they're worth. And the big challenge is you have left this structure behind. And the structure is set up to actually foster collaboration in the corporate system so that you have this constant feedback mechanism. You have people who are assigned to roles based on their expertise. You go out on your own, suddenly you're responsible for everything, whether you're an expert in that area or not. Many people wake up to realize that getting up every morning and trying to sell yourself can be a real challenge. But when you surround yourself by like-minded people, you can recreate that environment that fosters collaboration, gives you clarity so that you can move forward. And then you also, the accountability piece kind of builds in the consistency you need to constantly iterate and make progress step by step.
Okay, well, I heard two C words. I heard more than two, but consistency and clarity is what I'm going to throw into the cauldron here as we're building it. Aaliyah, you're next. Unmute yourself.
Hey,
Tell us a bit about you and how community and prosperity and collaboration are all driving your world.
I run a daycare is number one, and I am also a parent coach for parents who are change makers and cycle breakers who want to do a better job than their parents did with them. And mainly, really, it's about I'm building a community within my community. So connecting families and supporting the children and supporting their parents to just really build that secure attachment within the home base. And I always feel like, coming back to home base is so essential for each person, um, each child especially, to be able to really anchor into themselves. And once we have that home base and a really good secure attachments and relationships in our families, then we can really go out into the world and feel really strong and prosperous.
I love it. I love it. And we'll just throw childlike innocence and imagination into the cauldron here as well. So if you're listening to this live stream, you're just tuning in now, this is about activating your prosperous life in 2026. And there is the free registration, and everyone who's sharing this on streaming has their link there. Click that link and join this summit. You're going to be able to watch the interviews of these speakers from your desk, on your couch, and they're going to come to you a couple a day. But you also have the opportunity to like press another button, pull a lever, really activates more prosperity in your life. And that is activating the VIP Prosperity Pass. And right now it's $37 before the summit begins on the 16th. And there you're going to be invited into 3 rooms, prosperity rooms, where you can go deeper, have a conversation like this, and get laser coaching from some of these speakers will be in those rooms as well. So I want to go around the room one more time. And Summer, I'm going to mention your talk title that Summer is going to be, if you register, you'll get this right to your email. Summer's talk is your network is your net worth. And if you work it right. And so how can we activate our existing networks, Summer, to create more prosperity that's powerful and like it has a strategy for us? How can we the ones that we already have, right?
Let's go with the word intentional. I went to a networking event locally, and the moment I came back, somebody asked me, "How many business cards did you collect?" We have been trained to do that. Just collect business cards and put a clip on it and put it in the side. But if we intentionally communicated, conversed with people that might or might not take us anywhere, yet relationships build far more, your business far more further than transactions do. When we keep looking for transactions, it never works. But what I love doing is talking to people and considering them one of my 4 C's, since we're speaking C's. When you go to networking events, that's where we build our network, right? So you go to networking events, people could be either your client, but not everybody is going to be your client. They could be your cheerleaders who love you, and they're going to, speak so well of you in front of everybody else that'll bring you clients. Or they could be your collaborators. You could work with them, and that could bring you clients. Or they could be your, what's the other C word I'm looking for? Connections. Thank you. They could be your connections. Connections become referral partners, and every single way you meet people, that's going to turn into clients. So if you go intentionally and look for any of those 4 C's, I think prosperity is just around the corner.
Yeah, I love that, Summer. And and that's the kind of community that makes you feel safe, seen, and heard. Like you can just be yourself in too, right? When you can just be yourself and build relationships without having to worry about, I have to get business cards, makes it a lot more fun to hang out in too.
Yeah.
And that's what the summit is about too. Like we're just hanging out here right now. All of us are getting to know each other even deeper just by being on this live stream. And make sure you comment in the post, because we're all coming back to these posts and I'm going to be connecting with you and conversing with you. Ask some questions. Tell us what intrigues you. Linda, your talk, Breaking Free from Imposter Syndrome. How can community and collaboration help us break free of this imposter syndrome? epidemic that's out there and show up in her full power more?
Well, someone who suffered from imposter syndrome and just the belief that I'm not good enough for so many years, research shows that about 70% of the population has imposter syndrome. I work with people all the time who are at the top of their field, who have been, the best at what they do for years, and yet they still have this sense that they're not quite good enough. They don't know enough yet. They're going to be found out in some way. And so, just the idea that there are more people like that and helping each other through community. I love to build community for people to help each other recognize that within themselves and how it's playing out, and then realize that they can absolutely let that go. And my C word for that is courage, because it takes, courage to fully stand in your own power, to fully be yourself and say, this is who I am, and I don't have to be like anybody else. I don't have to compare myself to anyone else. And when you do that, you really, then that you are not only good enough, you're more than good enough, exactly as you are.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Tamara, unmute yourself. Your talk, Empower Her, Master the Art of Salary Negotiations. How can owning your value and negotiating from a place of self-worth, activate new levels of collaboration? How can that just really improve your collaboration?
Yeah. I think that it is all about embodiment. It is, as you do this work and you start doing these exercises, you start realizing what frequency you're vibrating at. And when you start looking at where you want to be, that's a different frequency. And so raising your consciousness around that and really being intentional with the things you're doing every day to get you into that next level frequency, I think is super important. So it's, again, my audience is very corporate. So I'm taking something that's metaphysical and introducing it to them in their language, which is very tactical and strategic.
Mm-hmm. I totally agree with you. We need to be able to take the metaphysical and bridge it into the corporate world, and vice versa. Take the corporate world, the really good things of business, and bring it into this metaphysical world and bridge the gaps between us. And lots of us have that. That's why we're corporate refugees, right? That's why we're corporate refugees. Orly, how to monetize your message through public speaking is your talk. And so what role does collaboration play in building a powerful speaking business?
Well, I love how Summer said, your network is your network is your net worth. If you don't know enough people, you don't make enough money. So I like to say those who show up, go up. And you got to build these collaborations and these communities. And it doesn't have to be big. Many people think, oh my God, I got to go to all these networking events and I have to build all these relationships. I would just venture in saying, meet 2-3 people. It is definitely proven that every person knows 300 people. So if we only take one person and they know 300 people times those 300 knowing 300 people, that's 90,000. And if we multiply the 90,000 by 300, that's 27 million. So at the end of the day, the opportunities are endless, just like in public speaking. There are 64,000 events a day in America alone that pay speakers, Canada and the United States. And yet most people are still broke under $70,000 a year, which is below poverty level. So I'd like to say that collaboration is the key in all of it. And community is where you really build true and deep relationships. And that's what makes the world go around.
Yeah. And you can be very creative about how you're putting your talks out there and how you're speaking. And you don't have to do it the same as everybody else.
Nope.
You can be totally 100% unique and vulnerable and make mistakes and trip and fall on the stage, whatever it is. You don't have to be perfect. Yeah. Leah, your talk, The Courage to Quit, Creativity as an Act of Reinvention. How has courageous reinvention and letting go opened up new creativity for you?
I mean, it becomes endless, right? And and really leaning into that idea of community. I think oftentimes as corporate refugees, or for me, in my case, I'm a political refugee. It's we feel that these communities that we built are they have to be something. They're what they're supposed to do. It's this constant cycle of filling these roles and filling these, checking the boxes that we think we need to be successful. And I will tell you that the more creative you get, the more you think outside the box, the more you build authentic and meaningful connections and a meaningful community, that's when you really elevate and prosper. And so it's, how do you get outside of what you've been told you're supposed to do? How do you have the courage to quit the things that are no longer serving you, so you can get that out of you, get that energy out of you, and it allows for these new amazing connections, community, creativity, all of it to fill you up and then inspire others.
I love that. I love that. So courage to quit. Doesn't mean you just have to quit your job. You can quit a friend. You can quit somebody that's not good for you. You can quit a habit. David, your talk, Smashing the Plateau to Ignite Prosperity with Clarity, Confidence, and Community, is basically this whole, you line up with this talk title. What does it take to truly break through our personal plateaus? And like, how does community support us in that transformation?
Yeah, I actually want to give a really concrete example, picking up on what Linda said about imposter syndrome. This is something that I see happen over and over again. Your friends in your community, friends, colleagues, your trusted thinking partners in your community will call you on your imposter syndrome to your benefit. So, for example, if you are negotiating with a prospect or negotiating something with a client, and you share what you're negotiating and where you're struggling, and where, in particular, you start talking about what you are planning to charge for something, if you're working on a proposal, I have seen over and over again where trusted colleagues will say, I think you're charging way too little, and here's why. And then the person goes back into the negotiating space with the prospect or the client, and generally comes out way ahead financially. So, and I hate to say it, but I see this more frequently with women than with men, charging way too little. People who come out of the corporate environment, when they go out on their own, they're often afraid to charge what they're worth. So what I would say is, one place where community can be really powerful and financially powerful for you is helping you anchor your value.
I love it. That is so important. And it is kind of weird too, that you're coming out of corporate where you made 6 figures, maybe you made 7 figures or 8 figures even before you quit. And then you don't think that, like, you don't think that you're worth the same value of what you made as a salary. You're worth more. You're worth more because you made those corporations millions and billions of dollars by being in them. Aaliyah, so we lost a few guests. They had other meetings they had to get to, but we're still going here. Aaliyah, your talk, The Innocence of Childhood, Parent Coaching for Change Makers and Cycle Breakers, more C words there that are really cool. How can fostering imagination in community really activate prosperity?
I feel like when we're young, our culture over the last while has really squashed the imagination. And even Einstein, one of his quotes is, if you want to foster imagination in a child, read them fairy tales. And it's a really, really important part of being able to meditate. Imagination's an important part of being able to tap into those abundant streams, and to be able to manifest things, you have to be able to see it and use your imagination. And what do I want my life to look like? And, to really be able to conjure up all those visuals and then feelings and be able to bring them forward.
It's a key to manifestation,
It is.
imagination. It is a
Mhm.
key. It's a key to prosperity. And as a group, as a whole, we're bringing this information to you and, getting you curious. Curiosity is one of these other key things that really helps get imagination. And if you are somebody's like, oh, I have no imagination, well, I challenge you with changing that mindset. You do. You just haven't been using it.
Mhm.
You just have to reactivate it. Just have to reactivate it.
You do.
Does anyone have
Imagination is a
one last
superpower.
thing that they'd like to throw into the cauldron here before we leave about prosperity, collaboration, community, or creativity? Linda?
Just say, well, with community, not only do other people, when they see things in you, you can't see in yourself. And just like David said, with imposter syndrome, they can call you on that, but then they can hold the space and support you in your success, in your prosperity, because when you join the right community, they want that for you. And so not only are you striving for it yourself, but you've got all this energy behind you, this support behind you. That's the power of community and collaboration. It's so important.
I love that you just said that, because that's exactly why this summit is here. It's to really empower you and to support you with your prosperity, with your creativity, with your purpose, and being in your power and creating the work that you love to do, and more clients and more people to serve and more connections. So thank you so much for joining us. We're back live again tomorrow, and please join the summit so you can get access to these brilliant live interviews that I've done with these people. They are the best. I'm so happy they're in my world.
Thanks, Jennifer.